Hey, what is up, guys? Coming to you tonight with another What's Next. This is on the undefeated and former undisputed Cruiserweight world champion, Oleksandr Usyk. Now currently fighting at heavyweight. He's currently my number 7 heavyweight in the world. I may move him up. I think I'm moving him up to number 6, to be honest. But coming into the fight, he was my number 7 heavyweight in the world. On Halloween night on DAZN, or actually Halloween afternoon, because he fought in the United Kingdom, Oleksandr Usyk went to the UK and fought hometown former world title challenger Derek Chisora, the always durable Chisora. This was going to prove to be Usyk's first big test at heavyweight, and maybe the biggest test of his career, because he was a former undisputed cruiserweight champion. That's 200 pounds. He's only fought once against Chaz Witherspoon, and he dominated him to a 7th round TKO, but nobody was surprised by that. So he went in now into this fight. It was his first fight in over a year, taking on Chisora, very durable, established heavyweight, been around the block a couple times, and is still banging and still very solid, very, very solid heavyweight. Usyk went in there, and I was impressed with Usyk's footwork and his timing. He got hit early with some good shots by Chisora, no doubt, but he weathered whatever storm there was, never really seemed in trouble. Even though he got caught a couple times, he never seemed in trouble, never seemed to hurt, and he landed some good counter shots, and really, I think he packed enough of a punch to keep Chisora off of him, and get Chisora off of him at times. So I was impressed by that. I thought he was going to break Chisora down and stop him, but I wasn't surprised by the decision, the fact that he got a 12-round decision. I was surprised at how close they scored it. I think a couple of the judges had it 7 rounds of 5. One judge had it, I think, 8-4. I thought it was around the 8-4, 9-3 area. I thought he comfortably won. But, some judges see it differently, especially when you got a heavyweight who's coming in and lunging and throwing big shots like Chisora. But I really thought that Usyk was outlanding him and hitting him with some good time shots. And I know he did stun Chisora a couple times. So thought he looked good sharp performance. And he even agreed that it wasn't his best. So now the big question is, what's next for the former undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world, Oleksandr Usyk? Well, he has not given up on his mandatory world title shot. He is in line to fight the winner of Anthony Joshua and Kubrat Pulev for the WBO heavyweight title. He's number 1 contender. He's been number 1 contender since last year. And now he's the mandatory number 1 contender. They granted an exception. So Joshua could fight Pulev first in an IBF mandatory title defense. And now he's in line to fight the winner pretty much. Now, we know that Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury have agreed in principle to face each other next year. And I think I don't know if they've signed a contract, but I know they've agreed to a 2-fight deal, from what I've heard, a 2-fight deal. Now, they want it to be for the undisputed world title. They do. So what will the WBO do? That's the big question for Usyk, because if the WBO mandates the fight, then Usyk fights Anthony Joshua next. No ifs, ands, or buts. He fights Anthony Joshua next. Unless Joshua were to give up that world title and just fight Tyson Fury without the WBO title on the line. That could happen too. So that's the big hoopla. It's, in my opinion, what's next for Usyk is either he's going to get the Anthony Joshua shot, because I think Joshua is going to waste Kubrat Pulev. I think he is. He's going to dominate and knock Pulev out, retain the unified heavyweight championship. Then it's really up to if he gets the fight with if Joshua gets the fight with Tyson Fury, because Joshua has already come out and said that if the fight with Fury doesn't happen next for him, then he would gladly fight Oleksandr Usyk. And I think it's the fight that makes the most sense for Joshua also. So I think it's either going to be a mandatory title defense for Joshua against Usyk. So that's Usyk's first option, is a mandatory title shot. against Joshua, or I think he's going to fight for either the interim or the vacant WBO title against number 2 contender Joseph Parker. Now, Parker's fighting Junior Fa in December, and as long as Parker wins that, he's number 2 in the WBO. I think those, in my opinion, those are the only 2 options. So if the WBO strips Joshua, or Joshua gives up that belt to go on to fight Tyson Fury, then Usyk fights Joseph Parker. And if they mandate the fight and the fight with Fury falls through for Joshua, then it's going to be Anthony Joshua. So either way, Usyk has, in my opinion, has either an interim title fight or a title fight coming next. And it's going to be against a top 10 guy. It's going to be against unified champ Joshua, or it's going to be against Joseph Parker. Personally, if I had to pick, you're asking me point blank, if I had to pick, I would rather see him fight Anthony Joshua. I want to see Fury get in the ring also with somebody else and get them out of the way. And then all 4 belts on the line. No ifs, ands, or buts. No mandatories due right away. You know, second half of next year, let these 2 guys, Joshua and Fury, let it build. Let them fight each other second half of next year. But I wouldn't mind seeing also those 2 guys settle their score. Usyk go and win the WBO title and be waiting for the winner, because the winner would have to fight Usyk. Usyk's a good name and he's a good fighter. And to be honest, I think Usyk can hang with almost any heavyweight. I think I really think that Usyk is going to give problems to any heavyweight. He might not beat Fury. He might not beat Joshua. But I think he's going to give problems if he fights either one of those guys. And all the smaller heavyweights, Andrew Ruiz, all those guys, unless they catch Usyk, I think Usyk's going to beat all of them, to be honest with you. I really do. He's that good of a boxer. He's very technically sound. And he has decent power. And he's aggressive when he needs to be. He's a good counterpuncher when he's not being aggressive. I really, really like Oleksandr Usyk. And he, in my opinion, he passed the heavyweight test against Chisora that he can fight the other guys in this division, and he can beat most of them. Now, again, I don't know if he beats the trees. I don't know if he beats the big guys, the giants, the Joshua and Fury, but I do think he gives them trouble. And if it goes to a decision, don't count him out of winning a decision against those guys. It's them punching downwards to knock him out that I think would be the issue. And then obviously Deontay Wilder can knock anybody out with his power and how tall he is. So Usyk, though, I like his chances, and we'll see what happens. You know, hopefully it could be him and Joshua. If not, him and Joseph Parker is a good fight too. Joseph Parker, former world champ. So very much so looking forward to it. But all right, guys, that's the what's next on the undefeated and former undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world, Oleksandr Usyk. I hope you guys enjoyed this. True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.